Hey, yo, what's up? So I'm starting to see a lot of videos of different YouTube creators that typically always share their experience as a Uber Eats driver, DoorDash driver, Postmates driver, and the list goes on. And what I'm starting to see now is that they are showing that these apps that they're working from are deactivating them, for, I guess a variety of reasons. And it's all kind of weird that they're all simultaneously working at the same time, right? Between Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash, because remember, most of them are all competitors. Some of them are subsidiaries, but simultaneously they are all like locking people out of these accounts, and remember, we got to keep in mind that these people that are doing these side gigs, most of them are doing these as a full-time income. Because as we all know, jobs are a little bit tough to get, right? And not all jobs are significantly tough to get, but in retrospect of trying to get a job that pays anywhere close to the price or the cost of living or the level of inflation that continues to torture us as I'm not going to even say American citizens anymore, because I don't even resort to myself as an American citizen. I resort to myself as a human being, because like I don't know what this place is doing. But back to what I was saying is that, these people rely on these incomes, man, and you start to cut the apps off, then they don't have any way of making their money on an independent basis. I seen somewhere that it was a specific politician that was supposedly trying to support gig workers and trying to halt these abrupt, deactivations from the account. So that way, I guess is in a sense, he's trying to develop a union, you know what I'm saying? But, who knows when this was exactly, and who knows how long something like this would take, because like I said, these things happen like constantly, and they make it very hard for the average person to be able to depend on these, what they call gig jobs, gig works, because things like that, man, all of a sudden, like, you could have your car or something could have, a dent on it, and a customer could report that, and you would get locked out. And simple shit, what I'm saying, you probably didn't hand off the the food or whatever to them, and they had that in their instructions, and they strike you down for that, and then you get locked out of your account. But I don't know why simultaneously they're all doing this at the exact same time. Now, Fox News, I was watching, and I don't typically watch media outlets, because 99% of the time they're lying about everything that comes out of their mouth, and I don't encourage you guys to watch it. But I did take a glance at it, and at the time it was signaled that it said on a graph that gig work is on the decline, right? Now, what do they mean by on the decline? Are they saying that all of a sudden people are not opposed to side jobs anymore? All of a sudden people are taking care of all their financial issues with just that one specific job that they have, or whatever they were doing prior? To me, I believe it's absolute bullshit. It looks like more and more people are picking up side gigs, right? And the sad part about it is that the people that I'm seeing are well above their years when it comes to working. Like, I seen a guy the other day, or yesterday actually, and the guy is just so, like, you know, he's so grumpy, man, and, you know, he could barely walk. You know, his back is thrown out. You know, he's running over cones and stuff because he just can't wait to park his vehicle, to hop out of his vehicle, to hand off this food to, you know, whomever. And it really dawned on me. I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. The dude is literally like 70 years old, and he's over here doing DoorDash and shit. Like, and, you know, some of you guys will say, well, a lot of these people, you know, these older people, they like to, you know, be active and all of that. Yeah, well, that's the story that they tell you, but what's really going on behind the scenes? You know, we hear that here and there, but that's baby boomer talk. A lot of you guys haven't even been around baby boomers to even know what the linguistics that they mean when they're saying certain things. A lot of things that they say is because they try to be tough. You know, like, you know, oh, that's just the way it's supposed to be. Oh, you know, it's not going to help if you complain about it. You know what I'm saying? It's all that shit that to just help. It's a linguistic thing. It's the, I'm sorry, not a linguistic, but it's a neurologic thing to keep the brain waves in a situation where, you know, you feel like that you can handle that, right? But then they forget that they turn 70 years old. They're not 30 no more. They're not in their 20s anymore. So that way of thinking, that shit is out the window, because you could barely walk. You could barely climb up these stairs and drop off this food that these people got you running around doing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a sad situation. And what I'm believing is that, you know, the oligarchies, man, they always got a plan, they always got an agenda. And, you know, are they simultaneously having these corporations, you know, cut some of the, you know, I guess dead weight out of the gig working market, so that way, you know, more people could be tied to working the job? Because, you know, a lot of people that are living with parents and family would rather, you know, work a gig job, because, you know, they could still earn a little bit of money and stuff like that, and not have to, you know, mentally break down trying to figure out how they're gonna pay a whole amount of rent or a whole, you know, utility bill or whatever it may be. So they, you know, live with people and they do their gig work on the side to contribute to the household. That's what the majority of people are doing, especially here in the West Coast. Because man, I wish you would try to work one job in the West Coast and try to pay a rent with one job, one person. That ain't happening out here. But I'm saying, like, you know, other places and stuff like that, you know, where the cost of living is just a little bit lower. But who's to say that, you know, like I said, these guys are not, you know, working together trying to get people to stop working these gig jobs and come back to working, you know, 9 to 5 straight. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You know, these guys have the most devious plans that you could possibly think of, man. And I've been studying these guys, man, and it's crazy how a lot of this stuff aligns, you know. So in retrospect, man, make sure you guys are, you know, staying aware of your situations and stuff like that. If you're doing these gig jobs, you know, make sure you have, you know, somewhat of a backup, you know, or, you know, some type of, you know, investment. I don't know, something to help you guys, you know, just in case these things or these situations arise, because, you know, it's always some type of game or test that these guys are doing to see what's working and what's not working, and they don't care whether it's your livelihood involved in order to make that thing happen. You know what I'm saying? So in most cases, like I said, just make sure you're looking out for yourselves and, you know, and stuff like that. But that's all I got for you guys. You know, if my thoughts align with your thoughts, like and subscribe to this video. It's a small channel, but we plan on doing big things. And remember, the truth's in session. Peace.